So, you're going to be working together as a team. And one of the things that I want you to do is think about how you're going to be working as a team. You're not going to get it right. And this document, you can rewrite it at any time throughout the semester. But it's a useful exercise for deciding how you're going to work together as a team. So let me just go through how you go about developing a team charter for software engineering projects. This may be too big for what you're trying to do, so you'll have to pick and choose as to what you want to do. But let me walk you through this whole this whole process of what this document does. The team charter is a reference document that you can refer to in times of trouble and also in times of success. In particular, it's intended to help you deal with conflicts and resolve those conflicts within your team following established processes. It is a document, and it is a document that you can edit at any point if it's not working. So your team charter should have a team purpose and objectives, the roles and responsibilities. Every person, there may be different roles that a person has, the values and the norms, and I'll give you a template document that kind of gives you an idea of this. The decision-making process, how are you going to get together? How are you going to communicate with each other? Like, are you going to have daily stand-ups? Are you going to have asynchronous communication? What do you do if there's conflict? And what are some of the performance expectations? How much time are you expecting every person? And how are you going to go about meeting schedules and agendas? So the purpose, in this particular case, your purpose is to build a piece of software for a client as per instructed by the professor. So that's fairly straightforward, but that is the goal of what you're trying to do here. There will be some roles like the interface with the client, which is me, I represent it. The template documents it, but basically you may have a back-end engineer, you may have a front-end engineer, you have a test engineer, you may have a documentation engineer, you may have wireframe generation. Each of these roles can be assigned to people. Now there's only 4 of you on the team, so each of you will probably have multiple roles, and you may decide to change them halfway through the semester, in which case you should just go back and edit the document. The values and norms, respect, trust, punctuality, commitment to quality, these are things that it sounds silly to put in a document, but it really is useful to write them down and say, we all agree to this. How are you going to make decisions? Are you going to do consensus? I mean, everybody has to agree. Are you going to have a majority vote? Or are you going to have a designated decision maker? None of these are wrong. None of these are right. These are just decisions about how you're going to make a decision that you need to do in the process of setting up your team. How are you going to communicate with each other? Are you going to do daily stand-ups? Are you going to have a Teams channel? Are you going to communicate? Are you going to have lunch like once a week? You will be having a stand-up with your TA, so that should be part of your communication plan, that you have a weekly stand-up. You may decide to have daily stand-ups as you start developing the project towards the end. Again, all of these things can change, but I want you to start thinking about these at the beginning of the semester. There's inevitably conflict. You know, sometimes we want to implement a piece of software this way or that way, and 2 different people. You can have mechanisms, okay, the whole team will sit down to, if there's a conflict between 2 people, the whole team will meet and will discuss it, and the 2 people can present to the team can help make the decision. Or if that doesn't work, you can go to the TA, and if that doesn't work, you can go to the professor. Hopefully we don't have a lot of that, but there are situations that you may need to deal with that. How many hours are you expecting people to work a week? I mean, if you go back to this one, how are you going to communicate that you may be late on delivering a piece of software? Let's say you committed to building a widget that does something, and you got in trouble and you can't do it, where do you communicate that to the team? In general, that's where the daily stand-up is. In particular, the weekly stand-up is where you would communicate with your Scrum Master, which is the TA. So in this particular case, in the roles and responsibilities, you will have a Scrum Master, kind of a super Scrum Master, which is your TA. So you can put that in the document. Let's see. How? What does your calendar look like? People should know when they can talk to other people. People should know that they can go heads down and they can talk, work, and code and get stuff done. And then they know that at a certain time in the day, everyone's meeting, so you don't have to go and run around and try to find someone, because there's a guarantee that there is a meeting coming up today or tomorrow or the weekend, whenever it is that you've chosen to do that, such that you can have an availability to the other teams without interrupting them. Um, you don't want to be interrupting your teammates when they're busy trying to get their work done. So these meeting schedules and agendas help you with that. So review the charter on a weekly basis beginning. Uh, it will also be part of your team self-evaluation. There will be a checklist that you will fill out every week and add to your GitHub, there where we can see your self-evaluation and how it's working for your team. So in conclusion, a well-defined team charter is essential for a successful team. And if you follow the guidelines and you make this document a live document, my recommendation is that you put it as a teamcharter.md on your GitHub, and then you'll be able to have different versions of it, and you can edit it over time. But the nice thing about that is that you'll be able to see the history of your team charter evolving over time, and that'll be an answer to one of the course outlines, is that you understand the process by which software is built. So that's it, team charter, and that's what we're going to be working on in the first class. We'll be building the teams, and then I'll get you to sit down and talk about your team charter and produce a document.